3 on Architects and Music. Gaudi, I have focused by and by upon those towers you constructed out of sound, those lunar lovelies carved in wheels of nightfall, for it seems like music in me to explore. And forgive me for not offering clodding psalms. To that which seems apparent I perceive that the subjective just can make a mimic, for a poetry composed itself in stone. I perceive no sound existent in the wake of cameras, for your lovers are the palms, where polyphonic whisperings light the silence, with tangibilities that transcend touch, the way that love is motion, liquid silkness, the softness of the windows of your nave, or underwater blankets for the archers, that project their bows of trumpets past all dawns, and sing broad hymnals, silence is their score, the openness wherein all thought is sounded, in the notes that met great Ludwig in his chamber, cut off in freedom, caged in open drowning, in the liberty of thought between the spheres, in notes that glowed in grains beyond the spectrum. I still dwell on that static model only of the first and third of the 14th and the 15th. In a delirium I once saw in bed as well as heard the former, and it filled the wide void spaces with a form that let the universe it breathed in fill the cage of me and brought me to a standstill, with the timelessness of life that lives in colours, beyond the forms I couldn't touch, where in the rustlings of the words, cut bridge through walls it made me witness, to no loneliness existent in the shapes of wheels, kaleidoscopes beyond all futures. It was the ideation of futurities. But back in Barcelona once I saw a family vacation back in 08. The angels painted in their 3 dimensions on the balconies confront their reader with a world untainted by a sound that was not music, and my loneliness a fracture without borders, through which there sprang the whiteness beyond speech. The brokenness in the sick word tears my corners, dulled beyond this void of books and cigarettes. Once Gothicism had become the norm, but I choose to deck my church in fruits and flowers. When I walk outdoors I am weary often of the magnetic ventures of the paths of trams. How ironic when they call me Gaudi, it sounds like Gaudi, they were handsome once, those buildings that they venerate me by I am bored by. You have become my fantasy, neo-Gothic towers, there are 12 steeples that are kissed by flowers, and God is a reflection of my sainting self. We are here for always, who become all ours, yet the sacrosanct is not Jerusalem. Love itself is a kingdom enclosed in the heart of a snowdrop weeping always for its clarity's muteness. But we are here snowdrops that have sunlight for tongues. I have lost my hair now, but seek a higher corona. Whisper this to we who raise where are at last the skies, disguised as bordered grapes against my topmost tower, the ideation of our own eternities. 4. From Hoover Dam. The intent of passive presence reaves an endless ring, invisible beyond all thoughts and changed to sickness. The sour beats Sibylline's vacancy breathing through mouths that do not taste their nothingness. I do not know where you are, but I do not know where you are, yet you stand in Kansas, as faint as flesh can speck or pulleys plying, where phantasmic traffic in a sepia vision, a moth halts high-wired to the buttresses of Boulder Canyon, things that are no more their own, or nature's. This is your own mode of owning, claimed by all you bear and take as throne, shield bright genesis of your dominion. And so my daughter dwindles, but I find her skin in the contact liquid wills of virgin Tillion, image tricks against the shanks of stone, that plays intentions masked from quietude, forgotten phase of makers just the lights coloured, Across the states the mark breath shut to entropy, the masks your osseous entrails seek similitude, no other misereres and mock to misery, blind lengths of birds disguised with deadlights no seer sees. Archangels mustered trumpetless, we set no corners, to all the dappled beam beats that the cornflower musters, that hymn the wind no more than broken rosaries. 100-fold of captives concrete in your crowning, silhouette the bird breaks, we can see them flee, eternally the screech their second drowning, across the clouds that twin your rift late salton sea, and Coloradic waltz of puppet strips the twisters, lift cerulean arum sans tendons freeze to murmury, in amber births your tryst what rivets spin your sisters, outraise your arcs and waters, wait and skim infinity, far dolmen overthrown flow of the cliffs and the rifts of spillways, your electric animals in scaffold skies where our wheels in wheels where pores, translate a chimera kiss I am not among, but where our worlds of lovers, to pant and spill where love in lamp-kissed lanes, or lope in the rocks and glaze. Blake Mead, your blue gate boy and pounder of the stillborn stray, closed chrysalid, the floor beyond forborns you genicize, in trance of archlights under lilac skies, give fame to a dial of archers, that last as their bowstrings glimpse at sing or relaxing ply, the forceps of a blue-born god from you not the water winded, sculpture and altar locked in liquid rot, rock's motion torn from what was yet a stilled commotion, men's are the only bounded beneath your flags, on horseback rock on the migrating dawn, grey souls where are just the lines around are lifted, and the Mobius windings of a stirrup string, of a Castes wrath what glass-blown skies but no sands are shifted, and who keeps the kingdom when the flood is king, amniotic halt-box rampart to a spattermass of skew-bald sky, viridian bursts break bonds as the water walls unbounded flee, and a child of birth is deaf, and purpose shut is the relentless die, that turns the flame-fleshed current crests of faint eternity. Eternal whisper too we nor the blue-veined gods, that make their love their rills, that rivers shift their fling, not those chords you gladly swallow on your mad guitars, but there seems no end of the continuing, and I take a plane ride westwards to Wichita. Your eyes, my daughter, are my Colorado, they only open masks to wanting ghosts arriving, they don't sense azure as its own millennium, but you are almost more than I, bronze blossom daughter of the sultan nigh, what chandler tracks your flux of few, as still as synergies between the cliff and altar, it is some separate camera trick that colours you, a stop sign noticed through the curlew's crisis, says that I reach here, a speechless madrigal, between the rock and waterfall just silence rises, yet the end of absence is our end of all.